Good morning. I'd like to call to order the Public Improvement Commission hearing of June 22nd, 2017. The first item of public hearing is on a petition by Boston Seaport M1 and M2 Land LLC for the granting of projection license for the installation of canopies over portions of the sidewalks within the following public ways in South Boston: Seaport Boulevard on its southwesterly side, between East Service Road and B Street, East Service Road on its southeasterly side, northeast of Congress Street at the northeasterly corner of its intersection with East Service Road. This was new business on June 8th, 2017. This is as shown on a set of plans entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Canopy License, Seaport Boulevard, Congress Street, East Service Road, Seaport Square Block M1, M2, South Boston, one sheet dated May 2017. Good morning.
Good morning. Scott Summers from BGI, representing ownership, Cottonwood Management. Thank you for allowing us to show our canopy license plans, and I'll turn it over to John Schmidt from Niche Engineering.
Good morning. This is for 3 canopies on the new M-Box building, Seaport Square. This is a representation of what the canopy will look like. It's heat trace, currently drained. Along Seaport Boulevard, the canopy will extend out approximately 16 feet from the building face. It's 14 feet above the sidewalk. It does not project any more than 2/3 of the total sidewalk width. On East Service Road, the canopy projects 1.7 feet into the public way, 12 feet above the sidewalk, from what 2/3 of the sidewalk width. And down here at this corner, similar situation. Right, it projects out up to 8 feet, 15 feet above the sidewalk. At the new business hearing, there was a question about how does this canopy fall in line with other canopies along Seaport Boulevard. I went back and reviewed all the permits we've done to date. Several buildings have no projections. This projection, the only projection that's larger than this is at 101 Seaport, which is a 17-foot deep projection, 19 feet above the sidewalk. The other projections are fairly small, so 3.5 feet at 77 Seaport Boulevard, and only a foot at 65 Seaport Boulevard. So as you drive down Seaport Boulevard from downtown, you see the 101 Seaport projection, and then beyond that, you'll see this projection here.
John, appreciate this piece of information, but I think I stand to be corrected. The intent of the commission was to ensure that BBDA design review people are cognizant of this project through this lens and are okay with it.
Yes,
so your summary is a tabulation of existing conditions.
We did, we received sign off from Jill Zick.
Thank you. That's
last
it.
week.
That's
We're
it.
good to go.
Other questions or comments?
Just a comment, just for the project itself and developer and contractor. I thank you for your assistance this week. Welcome to the Sale Boston. I know it's been tough with you, but everything that you've done has been greatly appreciated.
Thank you.
Specifically, Eric, you were your
Yep.
project manager. So just
I'll pass that along to him. Thank you.
Amy or Todd?
These are license agreements, right, Amy?
Yep,
Yep.
So at any given point, if the situation should change,
absolutely, it's irrevocable.
thank you. And the petitioner knows that aspect, right?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. John, thank you for putting this together. I'll entertain a motion.
make a motion to approve the petition by Boston Seaport M1 and 2 Land LLC for the granting of projection license for the installation of canopies over portions of sidewalk within the following public way. All is written into the record by the chair and as shown on the plan entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Canopy License, Seaport Boulevard, Congress Street, East Service Road, Seaport Square Block, M1, M2, South Boston, one sheet dated May 2017.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The second item is on a petition by 1943 Dorchester Ave LLC for the acceptance of pedestrian easement adjacent to Dorchester Avenue, Dorchester, located on its northwesterly side, generally between Bailey Street and Fuller Street. This was new business on June 8th, 2017. This is as shown on a plan entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Pedestrian Easement Plan, 1943 Dorchester Ave, Dorchester, one sheet dated June 1st, 2017. Morning.
We had two outstanding items. One was approval from Parks and Recreation for the approval of a trade, and the other was approval from the Boston Water Sewer Commission for the drainage system. We received approval about a week and a half ago from Parks and Recreation, and we spoke with Boston Water Sewer up to, actually it was tomorrow, and John Sullivan is going to sign off on those plans. He said if there was any issue, or someone could give them a call. They would be us.
Any questions or comments?
I haven't seen the site plan, but if you're working directly with John, he takes care of those. So confirm that he's okay with it.
I think that this should be contingent
Contingent
upon
upon,
a
yeah.
final sign, Boston Water and Sewer, regardless of who signs it.
So could you do me a favor, because I'm going to assume that this may not be the first and the last time you're working with the city on projects. In the future, it would be very awkward for commission members, especially a voting commission from the water and sewer, to hear about last minute things. It doesn't help us to do our work. Okay, so it has to be a contingent vote where the city commission member at this commission will have to verify the information which you have given. And if it is as you have testified here, we will take appropriate action. Okay? Thank you, sir.
Other questions, comments?
No.
Mike's got
Right, members of the public? All right, I'll entertain a motion contingent on Boston Water and Sewer's final sign-off.
I'll make a motion to approve the site plan contingent on Boston Water's site plan for the petition of 1943 Dorchester Avenue LLC for the acceptance of a pedestrian easement adjacent to Dorchester Avenue, Dorchester, as read into the record by the chair, as shown on the plan entitled City of Boston Public Works Department Engineering Division Pedestrian Easement Plan, 1943 Dorchester Avenue, Dorchester, one sheet dated June 1st, 2017.
Second?
All in favor? The third item is on a petition by 1943 Dorchester Ave LLC for the making of specific repairs within Dorchester Avenue. Dorchester, located on its northwesterly side, generally between Bailey Street and Fuller Street, consisting of sidewalk and curb reconstruction, as well as new and relocated specialty pavements, street trees, street furniture, and driveway curb cuts. This was also new business on June 8th, 2017. This is as shown on a set of plans entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Specific Repairs, 1943 Dorchester Avenue, Dorchester, 3 sheets, dated June 9th, 2017.
So we're just stating we have a proposed 5-story multi-use building, and we are hoping to get approval from the specific repair as well as some of those pedestrians.
Do we have executed, Tom, do we have executed LMI on this?
I'm still working on that. I'm not to my knowledge, it's not being executed yet.
Do you have any concerns about the commission taking a vote?
No, I don't have, it's subject to the law department's dissatisfaction on the last
Yeah, we won't issue permits until we have a full agreement.
Other questions or comments? Debbie or Todd? Members of the public? All right, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the petition by 1943 Dorchester Avenue LLC for making specific repairs within Dorchester Avenue. Dorchester located on its northwesterly side, generally between Bailey Street and Fuller Street, consisting of sidewalk and curb reconstruction as well as new and relocated specialty pavement, street trees, street furniture, and driveway curb cuts. All is shown on a set of plans entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Specific Repairs, 1943 Dorchester Avenue, Dorchester, 3 sheets dated June 9th, 2017.
Second motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Thank you. The fourth item is on a petition by Tremont Street Development LLC for the granting of an earth retention license for the installation of a temporary earth support system within Tremont Street, Roxbury, located on its southeasterly side at address 1012, generally across from Burke Street. This was new business on June 8th, 2017. This is as shown on a set of plans entitled City of Boston Public Works Department Engineering Division Conceptual Temporary Excavation Support Plan, 1012 Tremont Street, Boston, one sheet dated April 21st, 2017. Good morning.
Gentlemen. My name is Norman Curlop, and the architect and the project manager for Tremont Street Development LLC. The owner is Carmen Storcio, who's here, and the contractor, Mike Castillo. I'll just make a brief introduction and then I'll pass it to him to describe. So this is Tremont Street here. This is the lot in question. That hatched area is brick building currently owned again by Mr. Strosio. The dark lines indicate the ground floor level footprint of the building, and the purple line indicates the upper level. This is Cabot Street, which is owned by VRA, and that's where we have the utilities. We have secured permits from water and sewer. You have secured that, and he's going to describe how the work is going to be done. Thank you.
Basically, you're gonna be installing like H piles for support of excavation when it's in the back, and because the basement only goes to the inside of the building, we're not requiring any support on the back. So we're doing here on the side and along Tremont Street. Along Tremont Street, there is 11 piles. There was a question from transportation one time that sent the very plan, which is like new construction. This is the proposed building. We have an easement from a construction easement from BRA to occupy Cabot Street. So the majority of the work, entrance and everything is going to be done along Cabot. We are proposing to collect curves and barriers along the 2 parking spaces in here to create like a temporary parking. We require like a ramp on both sides. There's an existing crosswalk in front of the property, and the fence is going to be like right on the edge of the curb line for the excavation, interaction of the steel structure.
So you've submitted the CMP?
Yes.
You email it or you drop it off?
I emailed to forgot the name of the person.
Hopefully it's me.
Yes.
Yes.
So
No. We'll have staff review that.
there's 11 piles in here, and about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, another 8 piles along the sideline of the property.
And again, you own the adjacent property, so that building's gonna be underpinned.
Yeah, this building's gonna be underpinned for staff. And then next to that, it's about like 11-foot excavation. Then it'll be like a concrete mat over the entire property.
And you'll have geotech overseeing the.
Yes.
So Geotech, that did all the inspections for it, and he's hired to follow up the construction.
Who's it?
What was that guy?
RJ Farah Engineering is handling the whole thing, and the geotech is under their umbrella. And Mike Martin from UTS, Kevin Martin, and UTS, Universal Testing Services, they did all the geotech surveys and the report.
At the new business hearing,
Sorry?
at the new business hearing, this project was supposed to be reviewed by the Water and Sewer Commission. Might be they?
Yeah, we have a permit from them.
Yes,
We have
so
secured
Yeah,
that permit.
we did get, thank you for sending in the update letter that said that the plan has not changed. The plan on file with us is still accurate and unchanged. We received that letter. I think what happened was it was just going to the wrong people. So we have, through email, notified them that everything's acceptable.
When would you expect construction to start, and how long of a project would this be?
As soon as you give us a permit.
Other questions or comments? Amir Todd. Members of the public. All right, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve a petition by Tremont Street Development LLC for the granting of an earth retention license for the installation of temporary earth support system within Tremont Street, Roxbury, located in the southeasterly side at address 1012, generally across from Burke Street, as shown on the plan entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Conceptual Temporary Excavation Support Plan, 1012 Tremont Street, Boston, one sheet dated April 21st, 2017.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
The fifth item is on a petition by the City of Boston Public Works Department for the making of specific repairs within Boylston Street, Boston proper, located on its northwesterly side, generally between address 671 and 673, and address 755, consisting of curb realignment, roadway, sidewalk, and pedestrian ramp reconstruction, as well as new and relocated specialty pavement, street trees, utility infrastructure, and display platforms for future artwork. This was new business on June 8th, 2017. This is as shown on a set of plans entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Specific Repairs, Boylston Street, Boston proper, 7 sheets dated June 16th, 2017. Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Bob Corning. I'm a senior principal at Stantec. I'm joined by Frank Holmes, principal and engineer, civil engineer at Stantec. Thank you for seeing us this morning. This project is what we're calling Phase 1, or the enabling project, associated with the Boston Marathon Memorial, or what we're calling the Boylston Marker Project. As you mentioned, there's 2 sites, approximately 671, 673 Boylston Street, which we're calling Site A, and 755 Boylston Street, which we're calling Site B. As we proposed at the last hearing, at the new business hearing, the project in Phase 1 generally consists of bumping out the existing curb line to accommodate the proposed structure, modifications to the roadway to accommodate the new curb line, a new 8-foot wide accessible concrete sidewalk between the plaza space for the marker and the property line, as well as some utility relocations, street tree removal, and a new, at the Site B location, there's a new relocated pedestrian ramp and pedestrian signal. Since our last hearing, since the new business hearing, we have gotten our boring results for the I should mention that also included in this Phase 1 is the foundation and piles for the future structure. Since the new business hearing, we received boring information, and we've refined the structural design in terms of the quantity and depths of the piles, as well as the pile cap configurations. We've met with street lighting, and I've identified new locations for the two existing street lights that need to be relocated. We've met with Parks Department and gotten their approval to remove 2 trees at each site, and we're currently in discussions with them about species for the replacement trees. We've met with the Arts Commission just this week, for the second time, and we still have some details to work out with them on the final design, but they approved this portion of the work, Phase 1. We've continued to coordinate with Boston Water and Sewer Commission on both existing and potentially the proposed utilities. We've submitted to the Back Bay Architectural Commission. Our meeting with them is set for July 12th, and we've met with staff. We've met with the Commission on Disabilities, and they have we have some follow-up information on the finished materials, which we will continue to work with them on. We've submitted an application to the MBTA to make sure that we have no interference and they're comfortable with our new project in relation to the Green Line Tunnel.
Transportation Department?
We've reached out to Mr. Burgess, but I believe he's on vacation this week. Okay. We haven't heard back. So we need to coordinate the pedestrian signal, whether it's a relocated or new or whether it needs to be upgraded. So we'll continue to pursue that with him.
Sorry, the status of the conversations with the T? What's the status of the conversations with the MBTA?
So we've had a number of communications with the T. They've asked us to follow up with a formal application to get the formal process going. It's our understanding with them is that they're going to expedite review. They've acknowledged receipt of the application as well as the check. And it's the ball is in their court at this point, but we'll continue to push with them.
Other questions or comments?
We've gone back and forth, and I think we have the utilities figured out from a water standpoint. So you have our comments on the fire line not being relocated at the gate, but we can entertain a more ornate casting, and the surface
Yes.
line we're okay with.
Correct, yeah, we acknowledge that, and
Gating outside the area.
our plan is just to leave that valve as it is, instead of relocating it, and we may consider a different casting, but we'll coordinate that with
That's
Boston
fine.
Water and Sewer.
Other questions or comments? Members of the public? I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the petition by the City of Boston Public Works Department for making specific repairs within Boylston Street. All is read into the record by the chair, and as shown on the set of plans entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, specific repairs, Boylston Street, Boston proper, 7 sheets, dated June 16th, 2017.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. So moved. Thank you.
Thank you.
The first item of new business, Cambridge Street, Main Street, Moffa Way, Beecham Street, Spice Street, Cambridge, widening, relocation, extensions, discontinuances, and specific repairs. On a set of joint petitions by Win Mass LLC, the Massachusetts Bay Transportation Authority, the Massachusetts Department of Transportation, and the City of Boston Public Works Department. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. My name is Rebecca Lee from Mintz Levin. I represent Win Massachusetts LLC in this matter. To my right is Chris Gordon, the president of Win Design and Development, and to my left is Rick Latini from Howard Stein Hudson Associates, here to present to you a panoply of improvements to be made in Sullivan Square as part of Win Massachusetts MEPA-related mitigation work.
Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you, Commissioners. We, as you know, are developing the resort over in Everett, and as part of that, we went through an environmental process to look at any transportation impacts we might have on the existing systems. As part of that, we agreed with the state on a package of mitigation improvements, including some work in Sullivan Square. So we're now working with the City of Boston to implement those improvements. So the plan that Rick's going to explain to you in a minute is proposed improvements in Sullivan Square. There's also a longer-term project that the city's undertaking for that whole corridor. This is not that. This is our mitigation just for our traffic. We're working closely with that team to make sure we're coordinated, but this is an early piece that we're going to do now to get this done before we open. So with that, I'll turn it over to Rick to explain to you what we're proposing.
Good morning, Rick Latini with Howard Stein Hudson. Plan on just giving, since this is new business, I'm just going to give an overview rather than go page by page, though I'll try to follow the specific repair plans that you have in front of you. We have several improvements here. One that includes pedestrian and better bike accommodations. So the pedestrians include replacing non-compliant ramps. And there's some intersections like this where there are no ramps that we would be putting new ramps in and crosswalks. As far as bike accommodations, we're going to provide some separated bike lanes. And in the case of Alfred Street and Main Street East, we have actually cycle tracks. We'll also improve traffic flow as we are creating a new street here. I'm calling it Beecham Street in the plan because it is directly across from your existing Beecham Street. And it'll allow people to take a left from Cambridge Street onto Main Street and avoid adding traffic into the rotary. We're also improving Spice Street and signing it so people know they can go right down Spice Street off of Cambridge Street to get to Rutherford southbound, also I-93 southbound, once again avoiding the rotary, giving them that option. We are adding some new signals, particularly at the new public way that I just talked about, and upgrading signals and the timings throughout. So Spice Street, I'll pick it up right here. today is about 34 to 37 feet wide, and the sidewalks are bituminous, kind of in fair proportion, and only 6 feet wide in places, so we're upping this consistent 30-foot wide roadway, so we can give 7-foot wide minimum sidewalks, but they might have to be 9 feet. And at the very end, with D Street, we are providing, you'll see we plan to extension of Spike Street, but it's kind of an MBTA property, and it will encompass the new curb ramps and crosswalks that do not exist today.
Rick, the PIC action item that corresponds to what you just said, is it the widening and relook? So can you be specific?
Yeah, we have a specific repair.
Be specific with what PIC action is seek with each of the streets.
Yeah, try to get the cliff notes version, but I'll just tell you we can go with each one. So Spike Street is a specific repair. It's also widening, relocation, and extension. So the specific repairs are, there's city standard action, it's to do the widening and relocation. They wanted us to, we were told by the time to do a separate specific repair plan just to keep the information we. So for, and then a new Rutherford Ave, we just actually just changed the configuration here. It's basically a 37-foot wide road that narrows up and gets to the road. We're going to reconfigure so it stays 37 feet, so you have a 3.5-foot wide shoulder on each side. There's no bike lane on Rutherford Street today. One major change here is Alfred Street here. This is just a specific repair at Alfred Street. And the pavement here, actually is as wide as 60 feet. Basically, all it is what two lanes of travel southbound. So we're actually going to narrow that down to 2 11-foot lanes, so 22 feet. What that does, it gives us generous landscape area, but it also allows us to build a cycle track and like a 10-foot wide sidewalk all within that area.
So, Chris, the landscape area, who is programming landscape elements in the landscape area?
We are, and I'm working with Liza Meyer. I have not heard back from her yet. As far as I will have an answer before the public hearing. We're talking to her as far as maintenance, and that she agrees with. We do most of the grass. And they already maintain this area. We just made it a little bit bigger, so I don't think it'll be a problem. I'll try to do something in writing before it's live. Next to the next hearing is the 13th. I think there's a holiday. So.
That approach, Chris, the surface part of Alfred Street.
Yes.
It is basically one of the first gateways into our city.
Right.
Very prominent area, so it will be worthwhile for all of us to do something that is respectful of what's going on in that area.
Yeah, we totally agree. The issue there, though, is that it all gets ripped out in a year or so, or probably a couple years with the bigger fix. So we're trying to debate how big a species to put in there versus grass versus. So we've shown a landscape plan that is definitely an improvement of what's there today and much better, but it wasn't large species, large trees, because they'd all come out.
True. So low level.
Yep.
Pleasing visually.
Right.
And I think to be clear, and Amy, correct me if I'm wrong, Alfred Street is not part of this new business submission,
Correct.
right? So that will be presented on the 13th as new business. So with that in mind, for that presentation as new business on the 13th,
correct.
It'd be great to be able to sort of think of what that sort of high quality but understandably temporary.
The Alfred Street on this side of the river is part of this.
Right, so there's Alfred Street in front of the casino,
yes.
and then there's
Right.
this.
The other piece is not today, and then,
Right.
but
this
you're
one
right.
is.
Yep. We agree.
We'll address all new landscaping at the next
Exactly.
hearing.
So sheet 5, just make sure it wasn't the side of the bridge. So. Next, I'll move on to Math OA, right there. Basically, has 3 lanes of traffic heading east into the rotary. This is on a specific repair plan as well as a widening relocation plan. We are maintaining the 3 lanes of traffic. We are adding a dedicated bike lane here. We're also adding, which doesn't exist today, there's a right turn lane for buses trying to get into Sullivan Square Station, so then we'll have a separate right turn lane there. Adding this new signal with pedestrian crosswalks, which is really helpful because if you've ever parked in this parking lot, you can walk all the way almost to the road before the crosswalk. So we have a signal with crossing here, new 32-foot wide driveway here to access the parking lot, which the city owns, but I think at least injury parking or something like that. Obviously, we're redoing all the traffic items here. This is the new public way I was talking about. And it basically just lines up with the existing Beach Street here, so we're reworking the traffic items here, have a nice smooth transition across the intersection. 7, but most of it's 8 feet long. Even now it's like 7 feet by there. Go on to sorry, many moves here. Just on the opposite side of Main Street, which has 2 lanes, the opposite of the lot, we come away from the rotary to the eastbound. The urban here, this is actually, specific repairs and widening and relocation again. You've been here, there's actually no curb ramp or crosswalk here, it's about 70 feet big if you have to cross. We're narrowing that down, so this crossing is about 30 feet, you can cross pedestrian ramps and crosswalk. We're also fixing the intersection of Beecham Street, has non-compliant ramps with no tactile warnings, and obviously we're adding a signal for this home movement here. There'll be an 18-foot wide driveway to this parking lot on Main Street, and we got a left turn lane for the buses to get to Southwest Coast Station and put a signal for control that. And then we have Beecham Street, which that will be a specific repair, and this will be a widening relocation and extension. So this doesn't exist today. There will be 2 lanes of traffic. You go through here from south to north. This lane right here is going to be an exclusive bus lane for the T. As I understand, this is all going to be done by easement. This will be exclusive easement for MBTA, or this will be the public way.
So it's all going to be within a public right-of-way, and then we're going to sign a separate MOU with the MBTA saying that they can control and permit and maintain both the bus lane and the sidewalk that is sandwiched between their bus and their bus lane, so that we're not disrupting with permitting or utilities.
And I'll have that before the vote.
Yeah, well, so Chung's working with the MBTA. It's not required before the vote because it's going to be within a public right-of-way. It's just laying out who's going to permit that bus lane, and that so that we're not cutting utilities through the bus lane, and then the MBTA comes back out. We'll keep all the city stuff out of the bus lane and let the MBTA permit the bus lane, and they'll maintain the city sidewalk that's kind of sandwiched in between.
We just received comments from the MBTA on the proposed form of the grant of easement to the city, so we will make sure that we facilitate conversations amongst the city, the MBTA, in order to make sure that it's finalized as to form. So we'll get something over to Chung either later today or tomorrow.
Yes, so part of that widening relocation pushed off the way in Beach Street, so the sidewalks are going to be 8 foot wide there. We're also taking a widening from the city to make part of the public way. There's actually a triangular island to the parking lot that we don't need anymore, so that's going to straighten that out. And the last we had was just this Main Street East, which we're shrinking the traffic island here just to allow 8 foot wide sidewalk and a dedicated bike lane. Lastly,
Did you discuss Cambridge Street, the very first street when you get off the off-ramp?
no, Cambridge Street then discontinued. Yes, so Cambridge Street, the off-ramp will be restriped, so you can actually take a right turn from the left lane there. I think the lane might be 12.5 feet in. It has like a 7-foot shoulder, so you'll still be able to make this turn. If you've ever been there, a lot of people believe we use that left lane anyhow, so it's kind of make it efficient for you to get here. We are widening Cambridge Street. This is going to allow us to have a.
And you've coordinated that with Mass DOT, correct?
Yes, actually, Jim Kirsten.
Jim Kirsten?
Oh, we did? Sorry. Yes, they co-signed the petition for this too. So anyhow, widen it to, first of all, provide a dedicated bike lane in both directions. This is one heading towards the road. We also have a dedicated left turn lane to go onto the new public way. So we're increasing the street width by 52 feet to 68 or so. Most of the widenings happening here along the MTA property, kind of keep the sidewalk here. And as I mentioned before, this street allows you to, to take traffic off the road, you can come this way to Main Street, and also this besides you Spice Street. And I know D Street's not, Smash Push is not part of this, but we got to reconstruct D Street, so it's a pretty poor shape we've been out there. So we'll reconstruct that, so to keep up with that southbound and 993 southbound that direction also. So then lastly, we have three discontinuances in front of you. And all that really does is these are city parking lots, and the public way in the parking lot layout so it would jive with the current configuration, so it's really just cleaning something that we do
know a little bit about those parking lots?
Those are city has fee.
And so when you discontinue,
So we're essentially taking those lots out of the right-of-way and putting them in a private parcel. So there, it'll be a city-owned parcel versus
private meaning city?
a street.
Okay.
Lastly, we started this work as soon as we got all our approvals together. As you guys know, we see us scheduled open in June 2019. We want all this functioning, obviously, for it up. So, yeah, I'll take question.
Are you putting a new stoplight on Cambridge? Getting off the off-ramp?
No.
Getting
Oh,
off, right. No, no, right, so there's a stoplight there.
At Beecham.
Yeah.
Right, so are you adding any stoplights on that corridor?
I want to check. I know we're upgrading the signal that's there.
There's a stoplight there, that's not a new one.
Yes, there is.
Thank you.
Harry Pike, Howardtown Hudson, yes, there is a new signal at.
So now can you point the new signal for the commission members?
This is the new signal.
Yeah, that's a new signal. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to assume that you have figured out all the offset coordination between those two lights, otherwise nothing is going to move on that
Yeah.
corridor.
Between those two and also the main signal that's at the rotary, all three of those will be coordinated. And we're working with Don Burgess and Jim and the BTV folks to make sure that happens.
One of the first actions of the project is to provide the interconnect connection to get those intersections online. So that, right now they're remotely online. So we're going to hardwire it in by a new interconnect system down to Rutherford and Ramsey.
Yeah, it's about 3,800 linear feet of cabling back to the connections, correct?
Please, because if that corridor doesn't work, if that part of Cambridge Street doesn't work,
No, absolutely. Those have to be very well
very
synchronized.
The loops need to be there so that it is as responsive as possible. If it is just fixed time control, can be challenging.
Yes. Yes.
Because today traffic backs up through that whole
That-
area.
And that corridor is where there's the most congestion,
Yes.
that one street. And it's much better, but that's the area that we have to make sure the signals are just
All
right.
the hardware, electronics are as responsive as possible.
And the interconnect will help as well. That'll give you more direct control, which will help.
Yeah, there's been numerous meetings on that.
So you're more,
It's our concern also.
Rick or Carrie, can you talk a little bit, almost by mode, how these sort of suite of this constellation of sort of changes will actually help people get through Sullivan Square better? So, sort of collectively, how buses will flow, or cyclists or drivers will flow through Sullivan Square.
So I guess let's start with, I think we kind of talked about drivers, but, we have a series of signals here. These will all be coordinated. Chris mentioned the interconnect. We're going to be putting conduit and cable all the way down to Austin Street, which will allow this all to be connected back to the traffic management center here in City Hall, which will also help. Right now, there's cameras, but they have to physically send a person out to make changes. So that obviously, by the time they get out there, sometimes the problem might be gone. All of this whole, so we also have a new signal. These two work together, and then this bus driveway. So we have coordination here, coordination here, coordination here. Obviously, it's complicated. We've been working very closely with Don Burgess on all of the interconnect pieces. So that's for cars. For buses, the MBTA has buses coming and going from a variety of different directions. There are bus yards up here, so buses come and go from there. So they will now have the ability, the buses that are coming from Somerville along here, can do this. Basically, they would turn left here, come around like this and into the station. Buses coming from East Broadway in Somerville would be able to come up here. We're putting this new bus bike lane in here and then right into the station. So if there's traffic backed up on Montaway, as there is particularly in the morning, they'll be able to get around that with a separated bus lane. For buses coming from over here in Charlestown, they would come around like this and into the station. We also, I neglected to mention, we have a new driveway over here, and it's only for exiting for buses, and it's only for the buses that go towards Somerville along the Cambridge Street corridor. So they can come out here, and that doesn't impact. We're very cautious about not wanting to impact the operations of this signal, knowing that, as we mentioned already, that corridor is very congested.
So that right turn is the free right turn without going through the
No,
traffic?
there is a phase for it, so it would be called.
So that's,
I mean,
so it does impact the operations of the
It does
traffic?
impact, but again,
more pedestrians, so we're doing a bunch of sidewalk improvements, new connections, especially, I know we were out just last week with the Dan Nuzzo talking about these configuration of these parking lots, and trying to get across here. If you park in one of these lots today, is like playing Frogger. You take your life in your hands. So we'll have new pedestrian connections at this bus driveway, both sides, as well as at this new signal for folks to be able to get across safely. We wanted to do that because for the project, there's a possibility that employees or guests could walk. It's only about a mile walk, actually, from Sullivan Square up to the casino. So being able to walk safely along here, improving this whole area for pedestrian crossings, and again, crossings across Main Street as well. This pedestrian crossing signal, which is part of this signal today, will be improved. Same thing here. We've made some changes along this. City had restriped this whole area maybe a year or two ago and repaved, and this had 2 lanes for traffic previously, but the bike lane was put in. Today, the bus has to be basically in the bike lane to be able to pull over and let passengers board and board. So we've worked with BTD and Seskin on reconfiguring this so that there's a separated bike lane there, and you get your 2 lanes of traffic back. That we don't have interference between the buses, the people getting on and off the bus, pedestrians, bicyclists, separating them all, giving them all their own space. And we have room to do that within the public right of way, so it works out very well. So that'll be a big benefit. And we've been working with the Schraff Center on this sort of configuration of this whole area. They have a new entrance to their building right around in here, so just kind of a better design line. So this will work very well for them. So I think that's going to be very good. For bikes, we have more or less maintaining in the circle what's there, what was recently put out in the last year or so. We have bike lanes on Cambridge Street, bike lane on Moffaway. This is a shared bus bike going to an exclusive bike lane along here. And then along, coming from Alfred Street, Gallup Street Bridge has bike lanes on it. So coming down along here, we will continue that and have this actually separated bike lane that comes down, and then people can either do this or continue through and connect into the bike lanes, connect this way and Rutherford, et cetera. So I think we're making a fair amount of improvements for all modes, and then ultimately, when the city comes in with a larger project, there'll be even more improvements.
That's
Did I
helpful.
miss anything?
Thank you. No, that was great. That was good.
So, from the water and sewer standpoint, this is from everybody's standpoint, it's a very complex area, and the plan set was just as complex. So we have been going back and forth with Wynn and Kerry, and we've had some meetings recently that have been very helpful. So we are moving closer towards a completed plan, but we are not there yet. The commission still has, Water and Sewer Commission still has some outstanding design issues before, we have 3 weeks before we need to have a favorable vote on this, which they need to be addressed. So examples are, there's issues on D Street, drainage, some of the discontinuance areas. We're not sure that our water main is completely going to be in the new right-of-way. We think it may be clipped in one of the areas that's going to be discontinued, so we need to make sure of that. And then there's ownership issues there are assets out there, drainage assets, MBTA, that need to be finalized before the hearing 3 weeks from now. So we're going to continue to work with HSH and Wynn to resolve those issues before the next hearing.
To follow on that, if James Downey hasn't set up a meeting, we are going to set up a meeting with you because we have incorporated a lot of your comments, and we'd like to sit down with you because, like you said, it is a complicated project. So
yeah, just to reiterate, I think the coordination we've done so far with Wynn and HS has got us to a better place, but we still have more work to do.
So may I ask a question? So when you speak of ownership, are you speaking of ownership of storm drains and related
Yes.
appurtenances?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
We agree.
Have you received Public Works comments on this?
yes,
And have you incorporated any of those?
we revised the plans. I haven't looked at all of them yet. I need to review them today, and then we'll meet with them next week. And if there's any questions about who's maintaining what, we'll resolve those in the next week. I want to get those before 4th of July myself, so.
Despite the traffic signal coordination, your splits, offsets, phasing, all of that's going to be critical for the movement of. And every once in a while, I keep you saying, working with Don Burgess and the BDD team to get this thing done. But are you confident from your own analysis
Yeah.
that if the hardware works correctly or with the normal failure rate of hardware, that what needs to happen within this area to serve the needs of the city and Mr. Gordon's team is confident?
As Eddie said, that there have been a lot of meetings, because there's a lot of parties, not just the city, but, the signal at the end of the ramp, MassDOT has an interest in that, the MBTA has an interest in how the signal works to make sure that their buses can get through efficiently. So we've had a lot of coordination meetings and a lot of back and forth, and there's been a lot of eyes on all of the analysis to make sure that everyone is comfortable that what we have proposed is going to work. And so, we're getting that's now all into the plan sets. So, we still have another round of reviews with BTD, but I feel that we're pretty comfortable that
I think it should be also said that we're putting some new technology in here. So
Yeah.
like active, signal control, so, it's getting forged.
Other questions or comments? Name your top. Members of the public. All right, 13th, enough time?
Yes.
All right, we'll see you on July 13th.
Thank you, we appreciate it.
Thanks.
The next item of new business is 370 Commonwealth Avenue, Massachusetts Avenue, Boston proper. Specific repairs on a petition by the Elliott Hotel, Inc.
Good morning. My name is Art Sprue with Kleinfelder, representing the Elliott Hotel. With me is the manager of the hotel, Pascal Sheffley, and then also consultants working with me is Matt Starkey and Paul Bacus from McMahon Associates. This project involves the repair and work that we've been doing for over a year, working with the Boston Transportation Department. We started last summer, and it's initiated partly because of the Vision Zero work and adjustments that they've done to the bike lane that's on Massachusetts Avenue. Last summer, the bike lane was on the outside of the valet parking on Massachusetts Avenue, and Vision Zero plans swapped that, put the bike lane adjacent to the curb and put the valet parking outside. The concern that the hotel had at that time is they have upwards of 400 or 500 patrons a day that cross through that area there, and we wanted to make sure that was going to be a safe passage for them as well as for the cyclists too. So what we did is we started working with the Transportation Department last summer, coming up with some alternatives of ways that could work for both. What we have here before us, what we've submitted, is the approach on how we can make it safe for the cyclists as well as safe for the patrons. This is the hotel right in here. This is Massachusetts Avenue. This is Commonwealth Avenue. We have 12-foot sidewalk, a raised cycle track in here, and important is a raised buffer strip of 5.5 feet. Then adjacent to that is a curb and then the valet parking. And the improvements on this were done so that when any patrons come to the hotel, they can exit in the safe zone on the buffer strip. It'll be clear and it'll be identified that they'll have a safe zone for them to be in, and then they can cross the cycle track, and it'll be a little bit more visual for any cyclists that are coming through the area. We have spent a fair amount of time coordinating with several different entities. The plan has been modified a few times, and where we worked with the Transportation Department's consultant, Lauren, Vision Zero. They've provided comments, we've incorporated those. So the Transportation Department has accepted this approach that we have here. We work with Boston Water and Sewer Commission to make sure that any relocation of work, we're doing some adjustments to the catch basin and also relocation of the 3 street trees, and they've accepted the location of where those are. We work with Parks and Recreation, received approval for the removal and relocation of the street trees on February 14th, 2017. We submitted plans in February 8th to the Back Bay Architecture Commission, and that was approved April 12th. And we've also coordinated with Public Works and MassDOT on the bridge plans, which was a new twist that we had since that work was being done this summer. And we wanted to make sure whatever they were doing was, we were not going to be conflicted with them in the reverse. They are making modifications to the crosswalks there. They're upgrading the crosswalk. We changed our design to actually match that, so that we will be replacing the crosswalks to identical to what they're upgrading to. So I think at this point, what we're seeking right now, we think we've closed the loop with this whole department that we hope to have and are seeking approval for the repair of this section here.
I apologize, I didn't catch your name, sir.
My name is Arthur Spruce with Kleinfelder.
Right. So the gentleman who stamped these plans, your civil engineer? That's you, Paul. Wonderful. So, I'm sorry, Paul, could you?
Sure.
Paul, this project, a very critical project to the hotel, but there are a lot of dynamics that are associated with this cycle track. And you have consulted a variety of city agencies, city departments. The consultative process is there to give you guidance, but at the end of the day, the design that is being approved by the commission is on your shoulders. Do you, sorry for me to be this dramatic, but do you stand by the totality of the plans as presented in front of the commission?
I have reviewed the plan, but yes, I stand by it.
Thank you, sir.
Transportation Department, we've reviewed the plans, and we sincerely appreciate the efforts of the team and the hotel and the GM herself. This is an improvement that's being made on behalf by the project entity, and the City of Boston Transportation Department sincerely appreciates the efforts.
Thank you.
Certainly echo Eddie's comments. How will snow removal work within the bike lane sort of during the course of the winter? I think you guys have typically do a great job of sort of shoveling the sidewalk. Would that sort of continue into the sort of through the cycle track and through the buffer area? Is that something that you guys have discussed?
We haven't discussed that, but there is to be a sit-down and meeting to talk about a maintenance agreement to accomplish this.
Great.
Okay. To what degree that should include.
And in addition, if you notice the pavement markings at the end of our plan, we've left an area that's wide enough for a small plow to get into the continuation of the Vision Zero plans.
Great. Okay.
It will be beneficial for you to have a plan B, which is you, sorry. Take care of it in case if we have difficulty getting there.
Most of our equipment does not have a 4.5-foot blade, and I think the cycle track is 4.5 feet. Is that right? So we should just, we can have that. It'd be great to continue that conversation between now and the public hearing.
Yep.
So. And I think there had been some question about the right way to ensure that cars that are taking a right off of Com Ave headed towards downtown Boston sort of appropriately track not into the valet zone but into the travel lane. Is that something which you guys have thought about and addressed?
We adjusted the pavement markings from what are out there now. I think it currently shows a solid line. Right. We adjusted to just show like the L markings to help it as more of a parking zone.
To bracket the beginning of the valet zone.
The beginning and end.
questions or comments? Good job, members of the public. All right. Will the 13th be 3 weeks enough time to come back for public hearing? Okay.
Yep.
We'll see you on July 13th then.
Okay.
Thank you so much. The third item of business, new business, is 105 West First Street, West Second Street, South Boston, specific repairs, earth retention license on a set of joint petitions by 105 West First Street owner, LLC, and Boston America Realty Trust. Rebecca.
Good morning again, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. My name is Rebecca Lee from Mintz Levin. I represent 105 West First Street LLC, which is the developer of the property at 105 West First Street in South Boston. To my right is Dick Galvin of CV Properties, of the developer, who will tell you more about the project. And to my left is Deb Danik from Niche Engineering, civil engineering on the project. The project is approximately 250,000 square foot, 7-story office building, which has received Article 80 approval from the BPDA. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for hearing us this morning. As Rebecca mentioned, this is a 7-story, approximately 250,000 square foot office building. It will replace an existing 35,000 square foot, 2-story warehouse office building. It is immediately adjacent to A Street Park, and which you can see in the rendering here, in the A Street Garage, which we developed a couple of years ago, and immediately adjacent to the Artists for Humanity building. It fronts on both West First and West 2nd Street. The building will also not only have office space, but convening space open to the public, small amount of retail, about 35 parking spaces within the building, and innovation space that backs into the on the first floor. One of the main features is a open to the public passageway from West 2nd to West First Street, similar to the Channel Center building, One Channel Center building, which will be open to the public approximately 18 hours a day and provide what we think is a much more convenient traverse from the St. Vincent's neighborhood and the Broadway T-stop into the park. So that's a quick summary of the building. Deb, do you have any?
Yeah, I can get into the technical details. So again, I'm Deb Danik with Niche Engineering. We have 3 requests in front of you, one for earth retention along West First Street, and then 2 specific repairs requests, both to West First Street and West 2nd Street. The proposed 7-story building takes up basically the whole parcel site. So in order to construct the building on West First Street, we're requesting temporary earth support approval. It'll be soldier pile and lagging and cut down 7 feet below grade once it's done being used. Would you like me to just continue through with the specific repairs?
Just give me some.
Yes.
How much of the sidewalk will be occupied, or is this completely within your property?
During construction, the sidewalk will be occupied in front of the building.
So, and the pedestrian traffic on the sidewalk is going to be where?
So existing right now, I'm sorry I breezed over this, West First Street is actually a dead-end road. It gets stopped by the Hall Road. There's a Massport parcel at the end. So right now, the pedestrians.
Hardly now, no one.
There's nowhere to go. There's no
That's
other
fine.
buildings beyond here. So pedestrians will be directed across the street.
So have we submitted a construction management plan?
We're in the process of preparing one of those.
So this has not been approved to take the sidewalk yet,
It
correct?
has not been approved. Correct.
Close the loop.
We will be submitting a construction management plan.
Well, let me also just clarify, there's an existing tenant at the building. The construction of this project won't happen until our client acquires the property and also until the existing tenant vacates the building. So we are in the early schematic stages of design, and so obviously we will have a construction management plan
Right, I mean,
well in place.
As you know, basically, when we evaluate this request for earth retention, we want to see it in context of the construction management plan, what we're doing, so we have an overall view, so we're comfortable making a vote that basically we're going to give up that area for that period of time, so the sooner you get it in, the better off.
Wonderful, thank you.
Yep.
Ms. Lee, did you say, Rebecca, that you don't have a tenant right now?
No. There is an existing tenant in the warehouse building.
My apologies.
And when, It's an occupied building, and so our client is purchasing the property, and we're here with the authority of the owner of the building, who's a co-petitioner with us. When that tenant vacates the building, then we will be able to demolish it and then construct the new project. So I just wanted to suggest that the construction of the project is not imminent. And it wouldn't happen without without a construction management plan.
Thank you.
And it wouldn't happen without a TAPA either.
All right. No, you knew what the next question.
Yeah, we just got BPDA approval last week.
You want us to compare?
Absolutely. So starting on West First Street, as I mentioned, West First Street existing today is a dead-end road that's cut off by the Hall Road. So as part of our proposed improvement, the existing sidewalk's about 6 feet wide, including the curb and cement concrete sidewalk. Our proposed improvements on West First Street are to close some existing driveways entrances. There's actually a driveway that goes around to the back of the property, which will not be filled with building. So we'll be closing off that driveway entrance, as well as continuing to bump out on the sidewalk in order to provide a wider pedestrian sidewalk in front of the building. We do have loading dock entrance, as well as the entrance to the underground parking Dick's mentioned. The sidewalk through the front of the building will be at pedestrian grade, so the cars will ramp up onto the sidewalk in a typical fashion. We'll be providing a minimum of 5-foot wide clear pedestrian walkway within the right of way. The building faces step back a little bit, so pedestrians will have more clear walkway through there than that. When we go, so as was mentioned, this building is going to provide a connection between West First Street and West Second Street. West Second Street is actually about 10 feet higher in elevation than West First Street. So when pedestrians walk through the open part of the building, they'll go up some stairs or an elevator to get up to West Second Street. A portion of West First Street actually is also in the 100-year floodplain with the current mapping. So we went through Conservation Commission last night, and are awaiting our order of conditions. We were approved at the hearing. That being said, you know, a lot of the reason that West First Street sidewalk is just cement, concrete, and curb is because of those 100-year floodplain considerations. Also, it's just a weird spot that pedestrians get to there and then they're at a dead end, so they have to cross the street anyway. So we've proposed on West Second Street, which is an existing one-way road with an excessive amount of pavement. We've proposed to bump out the sidewalk curb in front of our project so that we can install some trees and some pervious pavers and also provide a 10-foot clear cement concrete walkway for pedestrians in this area that are coming from the South Boston neighborhood or just coming to go to our building.
So right now, it's all resident parking. What's the end condition?
So in the end condition, we'll still have two, but one of the sides is the parking. Sure. And
Yeah, it's
Your
unsigned.
side is all resident parking.
is that up here?
I don't,
Our traffic engineer from Nelson Niagara is here.
Mr. Danisco, you may want to identify yourself, independent of
My name
our
is
opinion.
Ralph Tedesco. I'm a principal at Nelson Nygaard. I'm in the transportation. Hold on, I don't believe there's actually any parking.
yeah, I thought it was,
I'm just trying to find the map that.
I believe it's unsigned.
There's no parking now because the building on the opposite side is basically under construction as part of their CMP, but it's all resident parking.
There's some parking on the opposite side of the street. I can show you the map from the.
So the proposed paved width that we're leaving on this roadway is 26 feet wide in front of our building. It's a one-way road. I would anticipate that you could get travel, vehicular travel through that and parking lane still. When West Second Street hits up with A Street, it is wider, it's still wider there. There is specific turn lanes to go either way, to go right or left. Those will still be maintained.
Amy,
Yes.
to the best of your knowledge or recollection, and Jasmine, do we have a situation where we have a 40-foot right-of-way going to a 50-foot, or is this like odd numbers, 43, 57?
I don't, we
Okay,
can
so
make
then-
it a whole number. That's
No,
the-
because we do have old numbers, not because of my liking, because that is how we have built up this city over the last 300 70 plus years. Okay, so there's a methodology to this map.
Yeah, so
So,
the existing right of way is 50 feet wide. We're not proposing to change the right of way width, we're proposing to move the curve in and to provide more sidewalk. If that helps.
Right, so but at the end of the day, your curb to curb width is 26 feet.
Correct, part of our building.
Again, that needs to be discussed through the TAPA agreement with the actual programming of the street, so. I think it's Pat Hoey? Is that-
Yeah, he's been
Yes.
working on it.
So when we discuss where this curve ends up in the width of it, our hope and anticipation is to put some trees along the curve, and with that, there will be some under drain for the trees as well as some tree irrigation. With the change of the curve bump out, if that's we get to the point that that's acceptable, we're also proposing new streetlights to be put in and new conduit and pole boxes within the area that we're changing.
Is there any retail?
There'll be a small, about 1,500 square feet on West First, small like cafe area, and no retail on the site. We had a lot of community meetings in terms
Sure you have.
in terms of the uses. and discussion.
Do you have an approved site plan from Water and Sewer yet?
We don't. We've gone through one round of review. We have comments in-house, and we're going to submit in the next week.
Yeah, I'm involved in that, and I didn't know if you had gotten back to us when we approved it yet.
We have not resubmitted
And that
yet.
was the backflow prevention on the street irrigation, okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
So we'll just need to provide final approvals before the next meeting.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Maintenance.
We've submitted an LMI for PIC council review, and we'll be maintaining the street trees and street improvements.
Hopefully you will be on track to have it executed before you come to us.
We'll be as responsive as we possibly can be when we get comments back from PIC council.
Any proposed bike parking on either side? Or any proposed bike parking on either side, or is that in conversation with Pat?
Bike parking?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Bike racks.
On West Second.
On West Second, on the, right. Ralph, do you want to speak to that, or?
The only piece that I would add is we're working with Pat Hoey and essentially have all the
Great.
mitigation worked out. It just needs to be formalized in TAPA. And it includes all the bike parking, transportation plan management.
Great. Other questions or comments? No. Amy or Todd? All right, members of the public? All right, we'll see you guys on the 13th.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. The fourth item of new business is 22 Boston Wharf Road, South Boston, a projection license on a petition by MEPT Seaport, 13 Stillings LLC.
I'm gonna run upstairs.
Good morning.
Morning. I'm Mega. I'm with Redgate. We are the owner's rep for Bentel Kennedy, who's the owner of the project. And just a basic overview of the project is it's a 6-story parking garage with 2 stories of office. We're adding 2 more stories of office on top of it, and as part of kind of the rebranding effort and having more tenants in this building, we wanted to make the lobby a little bit more prominent, just have better view from the street. So this is for approval for the canopy, which is getting elongated. It doesn't have a larger projection into the sidewalk, though.
So the canopy, the proposed canopy is very similar to the existing canopy that's out there now. Both the existing and proposed project 2.3 feet into the public way. The existing canopy is 12 feet above grade. The new canopy will be 12.8 feet above grade, so it's a little bit higher. The existing canopy is about 25 feet long. This canopy is 46 feet long, so it's longer in length. It will be heat traced, internally drained. And there's photos within the application indicating what it would look like. The project is currently in construction with Consigli Construction. The expected completion date is first quarter 2018. The hope is that these canopies will be installed in September, October of 2017. And I understanding that there's an ongoing construction management plan with the city as this work continues.
And again, I appreciate the assistance and participation and cooperation that your development team has shown during the Sell Boston Week. You really helped out to make the event the success it was. So, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I also like to note we do have BPD DA approval and Landmarks verbal approval from a hearing on May 16th, 2017.
Any questions or comments? Name your Todd. Members of the public. All right. See you guys on July 13th. Does that work? July 13th. Until then. The fifth item of new business is 93-95 Hyde Park Avenue, Ukraine Way, West Roxbury, a pedestrian easement and specific repairs on a set of petitions by AO Flats at Forest Hills, LLC.
This segment of Hyde Park, is it in JP, Hyde Park, or West Roxbury? And whichever the answer is, just make sure that the agenda and everything.
I double checked. According to the city, it's officially in West Roxbury. I believe the postal code is Jamaica Plain. Yes. So West Roxbury.
Right.
Our plan should say.
West Roxbury.
Well, we need to advertise it as West Roxbury, but it's fine if the plans say JP.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Good morning. My name is Nathan Dalkey. I represent the owner, AO Flats at Forest Hills LLC, as well as the developer, the Community Builders Incorporated in Boston. The petitions in front of you are in reference to a 5-story mixed-income residential development construction at the corner of Hyde Park Ave and Ukraine Way in Jamaica Plain, West Roxbury, just southwest of the Forest Hills T-stop. To my left is Mr. Gary Kane of the architectural team, and to his left is Mr. Bill Marr of Niche Engineering. I'll let them present.
Again, for the record, my name is Bill Marr with Niche Engineering, and we are here for the commission for petition to make improvements on Hyde Park Avenue in Ukraine Way. Starting at Ukraine Way, we're basically doing some new concrete sidewalks at this location. At the intersection of Ukraine Way and Hyde Park Ave, we're replacing some of the pedestrian ramps that are out of compliance. And then along Hyde Park Avenue, along the entire frontage of the property, we're relocating some curbs to provide for 8 on-street parking spaces, new sidewalks, curbing, street trees, things of that nature. We are not, as of this, we're not proposing any vertical system on the property, nothing will be in the city of Boston way. And because of that relocation of the sidewalk onto private property, one of the items is pedestrian easements that we're proposing, and that of the existing right of way for Hyde Park Avenue.
How many units?
78 apartments.
78 units. So how many driveway entrances are there, off which street, and how do you get in and get out from one of the most congested locations that continuously backs up from every side? So who is going to speak on behalf of traffic access?
Well, I wrote the other traffic access is a single point of access. This is Lot C, there's Lot B, and Lot A. Lot A, which already had access into the lot, we're using that for a combined access for all 3 lots.
So you will come from?
From Hyde Park Ave at
Walk Hill.
Walk Hill Road, at that intersection there.
Got it. So you're not going to be choking up and having more fun at Ukraine Way?
No.
No.
Okay. Correct.
As part of this too, there is a simple surface garage for the building.
So all access egress is from the Walk Hill stoplight from about here.
Yeah, correct, and that includes signal upgrades on that intersection.
Wonderful. Ground floor, any retail or is this just, is it commercial on the ground floor or residential?
There is one small commercial space at the corner, roughly 1,100 square feet, right at the corner of the building.
So how is the commercial aspect of it going to be managed in terms of deliveries and people wanting to stop and getting, let's assume it's a Dunkin' Donuts. So these are the concerns which the city will continue to have in terms of how you manage your commercial operations at a very key nodal intersection. So have you given some thoughts as to how your commercial component is going to interact with a massively congested area? And I'll let Commissioner Hesperts add or minus whatever I said.
Yeah, we would anticipate that deliveries can still happen off of the same intersection, the lighted intersection, and come in through the back. There's sufficient space to park a good-sized truck there. We don't expect there'll be enormous trucks, but we do have the ability in the back. As of right now, there is no...
The bottom line is you're not gonna put a Dunkin' Donuts in, because they deliver with tractor trailers.
Right, but there is a Dunkin' Donuts at the corner of Walk Hill and Hyde Park Ave. So
That's true. Good point.
But there is, so when we need parking spaces.
That's about their spread anyway.
There's sufficient room to put in a tractor trailer if need be. Plus, there's also access along this railroad front.
I think the point I may want to make is sometimes we don't catch on to your commercial component, and let's assume you have a Santander Bank or anything, a bank. You know, people stop on the main road to go in for about 3 minutes or however long it takes for someone to get some money. So we have illegal, improper vehicular operations that stems from the type of commercial activity that is there. So please be mindful of. Sure.
What are these parking spots signed as?
Right.
Yeah, that's my question.
Yeah. So you got 8 spots on Hyde Park Avenue with the neck down. So is this included in the TAPA agreement?
Yes.
Yeah.
And where does that stand?
So Mike Santos from Howard Stein Hudson. So we have an executed TAPA. It's been executed, and we have a TAPA amendment that's before BTD right now, and it's my understanding that that's going to be signed, within a week or two.
So what's the program for the parking on street?
So I don't have that information on me right now, but I do believe that it's 2-hour parking. It's consistent with whatever else with the parking regulations that are currently on Hyde Park Avenue. I think right there it's the standard 2-hour parking.
Okay, let's confirm that. And
Yeah.
We'll have an offline discussion on that aspect.
And just do the H-line geometry. So you have a notch within the right of way for the parking spots. So make sure, I think if my eyesight catches me correctly, about like a 90-degree. Okay. So just make sure that it is
The
roundings are appropriate so that it is not hard edges.
Are we developing a construction management plan on this?
Yes, it has not been submitted. We're expecting submission by this time next week.
How do you foresee the construction access?
Currently, the draft plan that I have shows access from the Hyde Park Ave side, roughly where the 8 spaces are now, a temporary construction curb cut there, access into the site there.
That's going to be a problem.
It's
What
like I
Mass
said,
DOT is doing right now and the way we have configured, if you've been out there, it's kind of a work in progress, to say the least. But we'll need to talk about that.
Yes.
Who's doing the who's doing that?
our GC is Built Right Construction, so they're putting it together now. We're getting it. Yeah, I'm expecting it the draft by the end of this week, and then it'll be submitted by hopefully mid next week.
Okay.
So.
Am I right though that there's no parking right now in this stretch of Hyde Park Ave, in fact, and there's no space for parking. So you guys, by providing the easement and by doing the specific repairs, you're essentially going to be carving in a new space for 8 different, either commercial or residential parking spaces. Okay, and that's the active conversation with BTD about whether whether this is the right place for that use. Is that right? Two-hour parking is the proposal?
8 spaces.
8 spaces.
Do you have an approved site plan from Boston Water Sewer?
Not yet, we've seen it a couple of times.
Okay, so you're still in that process?
Right, we just submitted in our last week or so, easement plan and, an agreement, because PwC wants an easement for their shoreline, which they're gonna have now.
Okay.
Customers on property.
Okay.
So it's just a couple of issues that we're trying to work out.
And did you previously coordinate on this project with Steve Shea from the PIC point of view?
Yes.
Okay. I'll have to get up to speed.
All right, other questions or comments? Danny or Todd? Members of the public? All right, July 13th, enough time? Let's come back. All right, we'll see you in 3 weeks.
Thank you very much.
The sixth item of new business is 888 Washington Street, Boston proper, projection license on a petition by the Asian Community Development Corporation. Good morning.
Fine.
You may want to.
Yeah. Thank you.
Does this work?
Yes.
Perfect.
I'm Juliet Borja. I'm with Elton Hampton Architects, and we are filing the petition on behalf of the Asian Community Development Corporation for a projection license to install a new, it's not really a canopy, it's just a bowed piece of sea channel.
Does something like this require any design review by BBDA? I just lost.
I think that they can display the address and the name of the building kind of without major hiccups, but that everything else
Like
is.
we can
kind
actually
of-
say Oak Terrace Apartments.
Yeah. But I will verify that BPDA has taken a look at it.
BPDA, in the report that I submitted, they actually did review it, and they
Good.
stamped and signed it.
Perfect.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Thanks to Todd.
Other questions or comments? Amy or Todd?
Nope.
Members of the public? All right. See you in 3 weeks.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Our final item of new business is Quincy Street, Dorchester, specific repairs on a petition by the City of Boston Public Works Department. Morning, Jeff.
Morning, members of the commission. My name is Jeffrey Alexis with Public Works Engineering Division. As part of and this is Dustin Kirchick with STV. As part of the Choice Neighborhood Initiative, we were tasked with reconstructing Quincy Street from Blue Hill Avenue to Columbia Road. Collaboration with the city's departmental agencies, as well as the community, we've come up with a design that helps improve safety, as well as the look of Quincy Street throughout the corridor.
Thank you. My name is Steve project we're presenting, as Jeff mentioned, is with Blue Hill Ave and Columbia Road in Dorchester. It's about a half-mile long, and it's to support the Coast Neighborhood grants that have been fueling the development in that area. The existing road is a typical 40-foot right-of-way, 7-foot sidewalks on each side, 13-foot travel lanes. We're proposing to shave half a foot, 6 inches off of each sidewalk in order to make room at 27 curb to curb width to that parking lane. Also in the cross section, we're going to have new street trees. There's no trees on the corridor now. We'll replace the lighting and some other safety improvements that are not shown in this section. Here's a typical plan view of some of the improvements that we're proposing. Along the curb line, we're proposing a 2-foot accent strip of pressed HMA. There's a detail that was recently used at this corner. Street trees along the corridor, new street lighting with the 1907 fixture, the more ornamental fixture. Along each of the side streets, we're proposing a raised pedestrian crossing. And it'll be shared lanes for bicycles. I should mention behind each tree pit, we're proposing a pervious concrete panel in order to provide water for the trees.
What's the clear width once the tree planting goes in for the available sidewalk?
4 feet clear. The pervious concrete we've worked out with the Parks Department because it's a little bit narrower than the typical tree pit, so we wanted to make sure that they had enough water and nutrients for the trees to survive. We have a couple of renderings of what the improvements will look like. As I mentioned, 4-foot clear around trees. Here's the stamped brick pattern of the curb line with the more ornamental lighting fixtures. Finally, intersection view, you can see the raised crossings on each of the side streets. Along the Quincy Street corridor, there's not going to be any raised crossings, so it'll be unimpeded traffic flow. We are adding a traffic signal at currently stop control location at Ceylon. That signal will be coordinated with the Columbia Road intersection, and it'll provide level service speed traffic flow. That's a typical section. I'd be happy to go through the more detailed plan with you if you'd like. Or we can take any questions. Our PSC plans are in to all the utility companies now, submitted to the public agencies, and are just waiting for responses at this point.
So this would have been great because we're out there working right now and we're getting all of our utilities so that we can come in with this project and redo the streetscape. So perfect scenario until the gas company came along. So I just want to make sure everybody's aware of the issue from Columbia Road to the Red Line tracks, which has the potential to delay, great potential to delay Boston Water and Sewers work, which would then impact this project. And I believe we might have some meetings scheduled to try to address that issue. Okay.
I think from the public's perspective, all of the subsurface work needs to be done to make this thing happen. So it could be all viewed as one gigantic construction project phased to get the water and sewer work done, then the gas work done, or the other way around.
Yeah, so I just wanted to make that we are on schedule with the rest of the corridor.
Right.
Excellent.
How many trees are being planted, Jeff?
Right now, believe the number is at 104. So there's many of them.
And there's 0 today?
There are 4 now.
4 today.
4, yeah, by the school department facility. Those are being removed.
Okay. And the maintenance approach for the type of concrete we're putting in, what does it require? How do you maintain the permeable concrete?
It would probably need to be vacuumed occasionally.
Yeah, we do have a contract with the maintenance company.
Other questions or comments? And your Todd? All right, see you guys on the 13th. That work?
Thank you.
All right, until then. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn. Second.
All in favor? So moved.